I want to touch on that where you were talking about the guys that would come down and and watch Countdown and things like that. That is going to be a very different environment to the modern day now. There's so many distractions. There's so many different stimulus for players. You're talking about 97 where there's a lot less technology around and a lot less distractions.
There's no technology. We had a little...
there's no technology.
I don't know if I kept it. I have done. I'm not sure if I can go to. I keep like little crappy things from the old days. We were given a phone card by Intel, I think. So you could ring, and you were given like £5 worth of credit, and you could get an outside line from your hotel room to ring home. You got to remember, when I met my missus, I had to ring my mother-in-law's house and say, "Is Caroline in, please?" You know, none of this Tinder, none of this swiping. And then
you're not getting any of that.
Then when I talk about phones, I remember, when I first found out about the Lions, was that I got a letter in the post. You know, there was no Sky Sports News. Well, actually, Sky Sports News was around then, but there was no massive media announcement. You found out if the postman was a day late, you were like 30 lads celebrating, and you were thinking, "Oh, I'm not going." Then a day later, the post turned up, "Oh, I am going." So the weird thing is, I'd like to think, I don't know this young crop that well, but I'd like to think they've got their own version. Everyone has their own version. There's no right. There's a great phrase again. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's good. Just because it's new doesn't mean it's better. And when you are coaching younger kids and they go, "Oh yeah, it's not like that anymore." It's, well, there are some basics that I get. We all want to reverse sweep for 6 and do a Dill Shan, and I get that. But then there are times when it's like it's 35 for 3, and the ball might be there to do it, and you might go for it. But I'm also going, this bowler's only got an over left in him. Let's just survive 5 balls, because I know the next change he's absolutely pup. He will only bowl, and it's the same in rugby. It's surviving certain moments, risk reward. I think the kids' mentality, not the England rugby team. This is now kids who are 12, 13. Instant gratification, instant fix, Hail Mary, throw it. But one of the guys we interviewed for a book I wrote was Dave Lewis, turnaround king of Tesco. And we were talking about the ability to trust your gut. And trusting your gut is an amazing thing to do if you are in complete control of your basics. And that works in business or in sport. If you are absolutely understand with your supply chain, time to delivery, stock, time to get it on the shelf, whatever it might be, a number of, everything about it, and something in the market changes, bang, you can change, because you're all these things, you just tweak slightly and it's in. But if it's part of that chain, it's just like there is a massive gap that you will not allow you. Then the long and the story of the short is, he says, if you trust your instinct and trust your gut, if you're not in control of your basics, then you are just gambling. And you're right, every now and again you might throw that Hail Mary and it might work, but it will work by luck rather than by application. And that's one of the harder things. I think I might have taken it slightly, but that's one of the harder things to coach the younger generation. And the answer, the question I know we're talking about is that their downtime might be very different. I think, and you read a lot about them, and obviously the obvious examples are Jamie Roberts being a doctor and that sort of stuff. You'd like to think just because there is Twitter and Instagram and Xbox, that actually some of them will use it some of them may not even, well, I know a lot of the lads aren't even on it, but they will find different ways to have their own version of a coffee club and stimulus and grey cells being asked questions of outside of ruck, maul, tackle.
I don't think it's very hard. Like, I've spoken to loads of current athletes that are playing, and even just some of my friends who are still playing. You just you do exist in a bit of an echo chamber. You do exist in a world where you have to blend like how much commitment you're putting towards that sport, because there is so much sacrifice you do need to make, but then there is that open space that you need in order to have an external focus that allows you to have just that mental break, because the mental stimulus that is around, and again, most people will probably stay away from Twitter just because of the trolling and just because of the negativity, and it's rightly so. Like, it's actually a real detriment to their mental health. But being able to blend that, I almost don't know where it sits. It's like, how many interests do you have outside of sport in order to make sure that you're finding that right thing that you have an interest in, so that maybe post-career you can then step into it.